Hey, this is Shane Hips with the Home Pros Radio Show. Not only am I a contractor, I also work in the real estate industry. If you own or operate a real estate brokerage that you're considering stepping away from, or if you're planning your retirement, give me a call so we can discuss how to keep your cash flow coming to you. Don't let all of your hard work fall by the wayside. Call me at 864-326-5252. That's 864-326-5252. I look forward to talking to you.
The Home Pros Radio Show. Brought to you by Prime Lending. Home loans made simple. Welcome to the Home Pros Radio Show, the premier resource for the well-informed homeowner. With over 30 years of combined home inspection and renovation experience, your hosts, Tommy Donovan and Shane Hips, help you stay on top of your home improvement and home maintenance needs. Visit homeprosradio.com to access the trusted product and service providers that are a part of our Home Pros network. Find the Home Pros Radio Show on Facebook and Twitter for regular show updates and additional information on the topics covered on our show.
Here's what we have to remember is these smart devices, and we got two stories related to smart devices coming up on our news desk, but they go both ways. What this also, they may make our homes easier and smarter to use, but could they be working against us?
Yeah.
And that's what that's what people are posing. Like, for example, and I wanted to throw these out there for you folks out there to listen to and think about. And so, like, for example, we have a lot of smart speakers. We have the Amazon, or is it the, I don't know them all. I don't have
Echo.
The Echo?
The Echo, the Dot.
Yeah.
These are just Amazon that I'm speaking of now. Echo,
I don't
Dot.
I guess, are those different models?
Yeah,
of the
they're
same
different
thing?
models. They're the ones you say, hey, Alexa, play this.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people just call them Alexas, but they're actually different models of
the same device. Okay.
You got a Fire Cube, which actually you can play the TV and all, but you can also play music from it.
Nice.
Which
sounds cool in and of itself.
Yeah.
But the question that people are starting to raise is, well, obviously, if you're communicating with it and it's playing stuff for you, in order to know your cues, it has to listen.
Yes.
And those speakers do listen. Amazon's Echo and Google Home listen constantly. Tech companies have allowed employees and contractors to review the data that they collect data from those speakers.
Yeah.
So some tips on how to keep that from happening. You can opt out of human review. Some companies offer that option.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. I guess you need to kind of be tech savvy to figure it out, but you can get in there and adjust the settings. You can mute or disable the microphones on those devices, which kind of actually
defeats the purpose of having
the purpose of being able to say, hey, Alexa, what's the weather out there?
Right.
Check to see if your device allows you to delete your voice history. Set up a password for shopping, which is good. Because if you have kids, we've covered stories on the where kids have ordered stuff from Amazon,
right?
Just by talking into the speaker.
Yeah,
and if you have cameras on these devices, turn them around or cover them.
Yeah,
and nowadays you don't even know what has cameras in them.
Right.
So, and I'm starting to see some of these apps. I kind of want to, I want to entertain using some of these. Apparently there are phone apps that will detect cameras whenever they're near. So I'd like to have some fun with that. Anyway, next item on the list: security cameras. Speaking of cameras, they help you watch, but hackers can watch too.
That's true. We've
heard stories about that. Don't reuse your password. We hear that recommendation all the time. Enable two-factor authentication. I'm making up words here. In order to prevent hackers from breaking into your cameras. Also, turn your camera around when you're at home, which is we mentioned that before.
That can make sense, but are you really going to do all that?
It just seems like more work.
It does. It seems like more work than
it's
what
supposed
it's
to make
worth
life
if you go get
easier, but then you got to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot. I just couldn't imagine always doing that, but I mean, I guess some people would, but I know I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'd rather not have it than all that, but I'm not going to necessarily get rid of it either.
Yeah,
they're going to hear whatever I say, and then it's just going to show up on my phone later on. through the algorithm. I'm gonna say something about, hey, I'm going to buy such
How many
and
times
such.
have you got-
I need a new grill, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, when I look at my phone, there's gonna be a grill.
Your iPhone,
all of a sudden,
yeah,
grills are showing
You're
up.
on Facebook, and it was like new
Yeah.
grills for sale.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about that movie on here before. I can't remember the name of it now. The Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to get freaked out about all this stuff, go watch The Social Dilemma. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. I know it was at one point in time, but have you ever seen it?
No.
You need to watch it.
Yeah.
Especially having
this topic.
four kids that
Yeah.
probably all have smart devices and all that. You might want to watch it. I mean, don't get me wrong; it hasn't changed anything I'm doing, but all the higher
At least
ups at
makes
all
you
these
aware
companies.
of how it could be used against you.
It explains to you why these things show up.
Yeah.
Why does this show up? Hey, this is Shane Hips with the Home Pros Radio Show. I'm looking for a few real estate agents that are considering a change in brokerage. Maybe you're wanting opportunities to make more money. You're possibly just not happy where you are. You could even be a new agent or considering getting into real estate. If any of these sound like you, give me a call at 864-326-5252 so we can discuss some of the options that are available to you. That's 864-326-5252. Talk to you soon. Think about how fast a computer can figure out what 9 times 3 times 4 times 6 is.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to do that same problem?
Yeah.
It did it in about, a hundredth or a thousandth of the time that it took you to do it. So a computer can also figure out, okay, if you happen to look at this over here, you have some interest in it. It can also figure out, okay, if you looked at this for 10 seconds instead of 2 seconds, you have more interest in it than the thing you looked at for 2 seconds.
That's a good point.
All these things, there's a lot of data that you put out whenever you're just out there just scrolling the internet, just going through the internet or going on social media or whatever. You're putting out a lot of data that's being taken and used. And not necessarily against you. It's
technically it's being used.
It's being sold
to help you.
It's being sold to advertisers, pretty much, is what it is. The data is given to the people who are selling the product that you happen to be looking at, and it shows up. Mm-hmm. So, but it's called the Social Dilemma. I think everybody should at least take a peek at it. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Another smart device we like to use on our homes, and I've seen it with home inspections and accessing homes. Mm-hmm. Smart locks.
Yes,
they make easy access to your home. But for everyone, if you don't realize it, like I've had it where I remember the first time I had experienced this, I had an inspection and the buyer's agent was like, here's what the homeowner wants you to do. This is their phone number. When you get to the house, call them, and they're going to let you in.
Okay. And you're like, okay, how's that work?
So I got there, and the house was vacant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's nobody here. So I called on the phone. And he was in, like, I don't know, Chicago or something. And he's like, hey, buddy, how's it going? You need into the house? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, watch this. And you hear him hit some buttons. And then the front door clicked, and it opened up. He goes, try it now. And I opened the door, and I opened it. And he goes, that was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was really proud of it.
They're very neat. No, I actually showed up to a house. I'm typically early to my meetings and whatnot. But I showed up. I was like 5 minutes early to a house. It was yesterday or the day before. But I pulled up, ring the little ring doorbell. Hello? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here to check out the lights that you need to replace. He's like, I'm about 5 minutes away. I'll be there in just a minute. He was in the car. He was in the car coming down the road. I mean, and he pulled up in about 4 minutes. He was there. So it's like,
that's pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to use all these gadgets and devices now.
And there are ways to use them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I was saying the smart locks can be used for everyone. What about kids, prankster kids or teens who get a hold of an access code and want to sneak someone in the house?
Yeah.
You want to disable voice command options for those locks, you can do that. You can also make sure you use, this was a good point that I saw, use digital keys sparingly. You know, sometimes you have a code, a 4-digit code or some sort of digital code used to unlock.
Yeah.
Which is nice for guests and contractors.
Right.
Which I love them. I love to be able to go to a house. I got an inspection tomorrow where they told me the 4-digit code. I hit the check mark on the door and locks. Mm-hmm. But they can leave a digital trail. So, if you hand these things out, there are ways to access those codes. There are ways to hack into things and get that information and use them for nefarious reasons.
Right.
I can see the other side of it, too. It's nice to know, depending on who you give the code to, it will tell you who's coming in and out of the house.
Correct.
So,
Double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but they can make access easy. If you just, that we used to have this thing when I was growing up on our front door. It's called a lock. It had a key, so you knew whoever had the key could get in. It's a skeleton key. Yeah, right. And then lastly, as we're concluding this segment, smart TVs. We love watching our smart TVs, but they could be watching you.
Ooh,
and that's kind of scary, too.
That is a little freaky.
I know when I first heard this, I'm like, so? They're going to be bored if they're watching me because I'm just watching TV.
They're just going to see me running around in my skivvies.
Yeah. TVs come with mics for voice-activated playback and searches, much like the speakers we mentioned. You can shut them off or shut them down just like the speakers. If this is something that you're not comfortable with, there are ways around it because nowadays it seems like you can't buy a TV without all these smart features. Yeah. There are ways that you can get in there and
make it not smart.
Yeah, make it a dumb.
Make
TV.
it a dumb TV. I just wanted a plain old dumb TV.
Just want a dumb house. So you can disconnect the internet, so there isn't that kind of access. But there are ways you can adjust your settings that way.
Thank you for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show. If you have a question for the Home Pros, visit us online at homeprosradio.com, where you can also catch our podcast episodes and learn more about the topics and guests we bring to you each week. The Home Pros Radio Show is made possible by Prime Lending, RIC Home Inspections, Closing Contractor, Radon Recon, and Carolina Heating Service. If you are a trusted service provider in our area and would like to contribute to the show, send us a message through our Contact Us page at homeprosradio.com. Once again, thanks for listening to the Home Pros Radio Show.